good morning, and welcome to the School 3 News. Hello, welcome to this Tuesday, June 16th edition of the School 3 News. Boys and girls, there are many of you who have not completed your IXL diagnostic yet. Please get on and complete that as soon as possible. Just know, I'm going to be calling your parents today, between today and tomorrow, if the diagnostic is not completed. So save me the time of calling, save you the time of getting in trouble because your teacher called your parents. Just do what you have to do. Make sure you go into all of your teachers' Google Classrooms, complete all of their assignments, including your specials, art, music, gym, library, instrumental 5th and 6th, Spanish, health. Do it all. On to the news.
And now, this day in history.
This day in history, 1884. The first roller coaster in America is opened at Coney Island in New York. It went 6 miles an hour and cost a nickel to ride back then. That roller coaster was so successful that it led to hundreds of roller coasters being built around the country in the coming years. Coney Island was a huge tourist attraction. They had 3 separate amusement parks. And it wasn't until 1955, when Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California, that the modern era amusement parks began to appear, and the smaller ones, like the ones in Coney Island, began to decline and close down. If you go to Coney Island today, you can still ride one of the oldest roller coasters that's still operational in the entire country, and it's called the Cyclone. This one's a little faster than the first one that was invented in Coney Island. This one goes 60 miles an hour and has an 85-foot drop. So if you ever go to Coney Island, don't forget, ride the Cyclone and eat some Nathan's hot dogs. This day in history, 1903, the Ford Motor Company is born. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, Henry Ford had already invented the quadricycle back in 1896, and he tried to start his own company several times, but could never do it. It wasn't until 1803 that his dream came true, and a month later, the first Ford car was built at a plant in Detroit. In the early days, only a few cars were built during a day, because they were built by hand by a small group of workers. Not only were they handmade, but the parts, they had to buy them from other companies that made the parts. And then came the Model T in 1908, and half the cars in the United States were Model Ts shortly after. Automakers at the time worked 9-hour days, and they made $2.34 an hour. What did Henry Ford do? He wanted better production. So if you pay your workers more, they're going to want to do better, right? Because you're getting paid more. So not only did he give them a raise, so he raised their wage to $5 an hour, but he also made them work an hour less. So now it became the standard 8-hour workday, which most people work today, and made their wage $5, more than double what they were getting before. So smart man. And the final piece of the puzzle for him was creating this enormous plant. It took about roughly 10 years to complete, but it had all the materials he needed to make his cars. They were all made in that one factory. So there was a sawmill, there was a glass factory. They built everything there, the steel mill, everything they needed, all the parts for the car were now built in his factory. So he didn't have to go buy from a third party. He made everything within that plant, including the cars. Man, the more I read about this guy, he was amazing. He was a visionary. He was just a really, really smart individual. So there you go. Ford Motor Company becomes a thing this day in history. Only one thing on the National Day calendar, and that is National Fudge Day. As you guys know, not the biggest fan of chocolate, but these look so good. I would definitely sample a couple of these if I had a chance. So hope you guys enjoy National Fudge Day. And with the weather, of course, another beautiful, beautiful sunny day, high of 77. Make sure you go out and enjoy this beautiful weather. And that wraps it up for this edition of the School 3 News. Stay safe and stay classy, Belleville.